With India's BCCI Secretary Jay Shah set to take charge as ICC chairman at the end of the year, it's safe to say that India's control over cricket and the growth of the sport globally is undeniable. It's a sport that may have originated elsewhere, but India's dominance when it comes to how the sport is perceived, watched and embraced is rather significant. The ODI World Cup that took place last year proves that. Let me show you some numbers first. The ICC, in fact, released some data that have been collected over time that only shows how successful the World Cup in India was. Not for the sport alone, but also for the economy. It was hugely beneficial to India's economy. Here's what I mean. Let's first look at the direct impact of the World Cup itself. A record 1.25 million spectators watched the matches live at the stadiums. There were 10 cities where the matches took place all across the country: Ahmedabad, Chennai, Bengaluru, Kolkata, Delhi, Hyderabad, Dharamshala, Lucknow, Mumbai and Pune. Each city was very unique and offered a different perspective to watching cricket. And get this, nearly 75% were first-time viewers of the ODI World Cup. It says many things here. One, possibly, that many of these were first-time cricket watchers itself, which means they were traveling from outside the country, from parts of the world where cricket is not that big. Because let's face it, even if you did not like the sport, there's no escaping it, either watching it or even being part of it in some way if you're in the country. Two, it indicates young viewers, many who probably have not caught an ODI World Cup in the melee of T20 cricket. This is pertaining to the viewership and the cricket craze it generated. But here's where it tells a very important story. The biggest boost came to the tourism sector. Tourism alone generated $861.4 million. That coming from accommodation, travel, food services and the like. International tourists alone contributed close to $300 million. And if we had to deep dive, 19% were visiting India for the very first time. And here's the kicker, 68% of them would recommend India as a tourist destination. And it was not only about tourism sector, the job market opened up greatly thanks to the World Cup as well. The event created nearly 50,000 jobs across various sectors, whether it's hospitality, event management, and of course generated an additional $18 million for the Indian economy. The economic impact of this mega event was valued at $253.9 million, and the economic benefit thanks to this World Cup that India received has been pegged at close to $1.4 billion. That's the best ever in all of the years of the World Cup that ever took place, and such a stark contrast to what we watched unfold just some months ago in the US when the ICC decided to get the Americas to host, in fact USA to host part of the T20 World Cup along with West Indies. Now at least they took the safer option of T20 formats rather than an ODI, but the World Cup, especially the USA leg, proved to be a bit of a disaster. And there were plenty of reasons for that, from the horrible pitches that were on offer in New York, to lack of facilities in the hotels where the various teams stayed, to stadiums going empty, washed out matches, and the exorbitant rates that were set for tickets in India games, particularly in India versus Pakistan. The ICC and the organizers faced a lot of flack, and it reflected monetarily too. The T20 World Cup reported losses of up to $20 million. All of this, of course, pointing to the next ICC event and what everyone needs to be careful about while hosting that, while organizing that. And you know it, the host for this one is Pakistan. The ICC Champions Trophy starting February next year will put added pressure on the ICC and of course the host country, because the biggest thing the success of this tournament hinges on is India traveling to Pakistan. And if that falls through, as indications suggest, then Pakistan will have a huge uphill task to ensure the tournament is a success. And maybe that's why the ICC will be watching all developments in this space very closely in the weeks to come.